Greetings, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of Final Douche ASMR. And this week, we are looking into 1967's Rolling Stones, Between the Buttons. And if you like this sort of thing, which is a little bit of a, I wouldn't say deep, kind of a shallow dive into vinyl records in a very relaxing way, then please like and subscribe to the channel. Do this every week. So this is the 5th album by the Rolling Stones, and it was recorded from August to December of 1966, released January 1967. It was released in a monumental year of music. It was recorded at RCA in Hollywood. It was also recorded at IBC, Olympic, and Pi Studios in London. It was released in the Decca label. Now, this album was very well received. It reached number 3 in the UK, and number 2 in the US. And the band at this point was sort of experimenting a little, going into the psychedelia or the Baroque pop range. Sort of meeting bands like Pink Floyd there. Piper and the Gates of Dawn, I think, was either the same year or a year after this. And Nick Jones, or Brian Jones rather, was experimenting, instead of using guitars, using things like organs and the marimba banjo. So gave this Rolling Stones album a little bit of a different feel. And as you can see, 2 buttons right here. And that is on their drummer. And this is how they actually got the name of the album. It was Charlie Watts. Mick Jagger noticed 2 buttons on Charlie Watts' shirt, and somehow that spawned into the album being called Between Two Buttons, or Between the Buttons, rather. Okay, so let's go through the entire band, and I'm gonna say straight up that I really can't tell Brian Jones and Bill Wyman apart. But we'll start with Mick Jagger, who was lead vocals, backing vocals, tambourine, and we got Keith Richards, and he's on guitars, backing vocals, lead vocals. On Connection and Something Happened to Me Yesterday on the album. He also plays piano and double bass. Brian Jones. I think that's Brian. He's on guitars, organ, and recorder, and piano. And on the Appalachian dulcimer, banjo, kazoo, harmonica, and others I mentioned before. Bill Wyman, I'm gonna guess it's him. He's on the bass guitar, double bass, backing vocals on all sold outs. And Charlie Watts is the drummer. Alright, let me see if I got this right. I'm gonna look up their pictures. This is reverse racism. Bill Wyman. Damn. Charlie Watts looks very distinctive to me, and these two, I recognize them anywhere. All right, let's look at the songs inside the record. Back here, it's actually a cartoon drawn by Charlie Watts, the drummer. And the cover photographer was Gerald Mankiewicz. The album was produced by Andrew Loog Oldham, who had produced all their previous albums to this point, and was also acting as the band's manager. So this is a first print, and it was actually one of the first prints I ever bought when I started collecting vinyl all the way back in ancient days of 2025. So yeah, I bought this maybe last winter, and it was one of my first prints, and sort of decided off of these first prints, that's kind of what I like to listen to. So this album is kind of special. Alright, anyone I know here? I don't know anybody here. There's the Stones, the Zombies, okay. That's this album. Tom Jones. More Stones. Aftermath, I think, was the album before. I think we'll say bye-bye to this one. Okay, side one, Between the Buttons, is Let's Spend the Night Together. So this is the US version, and the UK version had a couple of different songs. Let's Spend the Night Together was not on it. Yesterday's Papers, Ruby Tuesday, Connection, She Smiled Sweetly, and Cool, Calm, and Collected. Now, She Smiled Sweetly in the whole album actually was featured in the Royal Tenenbaums movie. He saw that, which is, I think, still my favorite Wes Anderson. I think Ruby Tuesday's in it too. Oh, this one's filthy. Why? Why is it so dirty? Jesus. I think it's that paper wrapping. Alright, number one on side 2 is All Sold Out. 2 is My Obsession, Who's Been Sleeping, Complicated, Miss Amanda Jones, and the last song on Between the Buttons is Something Happened to Me Yesterday. Clearly this one came out right in a part of the British invasion. Stones would stand the test of time. Okay. Alright, this dust jacket's foggy, but I think it's strong. Here we have it. 1967's Between the Buttons. A classic amongst a stacked roster of classic albums in 1967. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time.